First off, don't think I think this is a perfect vehicle. If you think I think that you think that I think that I think it is, then you're thinking that I thought what you thought isn't right when we think about that. I guess the question one has to ask is it good that I only have half a foot because, you know, I wear big shoes? Or, you know, yeah. Hey guys, Joe here, and I have a bit of a dilemma. I really like this car. It's not really a dilemma, but it sounds like drama. So come on, let's take a look at this. It is a 2018 Chevy Camaro SS 1LE. And I will show you all the fun stuff, and we will talk about what makes this car so damn special. This car is finished in Nightfall Gray, but it's the 1LE package, so you get the matte black hood, you get the blacked out ducktail spoiler, and you have the 1LE hash marks. Walking up to it, the first thing you see is the laughingly soft tires. Those are not very long life tires. They're Goodyear Eagle. I believe they're Goodyears. Yep. Goodyear Eagle F1 supercar tires. You see you have Brembo brakes in there, and they are a two-piece rotor. You can tell by the bolts. Single pieces don't have those. Up at the front, you have a deeper splitter, deeper chin spoiler than the standard car. You have HID headlights with LED daytime signature running lights. Chevy Camaro double bubble roof, which you can get a sunroof, but you lose that feature and you could potentially lose some structural rigidity as well. And don't say you don't, you do. It's just how much is the question. At the back, it has the Corvette-esque lights and the dual exhaust with the, as you can see, the dual mode exhaust, currently on happy loud sounding. At idle, I think it's actually louder than my Mustang, but under full load, I think my Mustang is louder. In terms of tire and wheel fitment, it's 285 front, 305 rear, so they are staggered. They are not squared off all the way around like the old Z28s were, with the 305s all the way around. And here is that massive beating heart, a 6.2 liter LT1 direct injected V8 engine, making a lot of power and a lot of torque. Check it out right here. Very tidy packaging. So let's jump in it and take a look at the interior, and then we'll go for a drive. 2018 Camaro 1SS Coupe with the 1LE package. And my God, do I love this car. So this is the second car of the day for me. This is going to be almost 700 miles that I'm driving today. Not in just this car, the other car as well. And I wanted to make a video on both vehicles. And when I found out I was picking up a Camaro, I was like, whatever. Then he said it's an SS. I'm like, whatever, I've driven those. And then he says it's a 1LE. And I was like, ka-ching, because I really wanted to drive one of these because to me, 1LE is very important. In fact, I'll put a picture right here or right over my damn face of my old 1LE Camaro. Now, I had the OG 1LE. I had a 1989 1LE 5-speed Camaro with the roll cage and everything in it. I actually got it through an auction from the dealership I used to work for. It had 6,000 miles. It eventually got stolen and all vandalized, which sucked, but I had the OG 1LE 1989 IROC, one of 52 built with a 5-speed in 1989. So when I got a chance to bring this back, I'm like, I'm down for that, because to me, and understand this as I explain it because it's actually pretty damn true, the 1LE SS is to the ZL1 as the Grand Sport is to the Z06, because the Z06 has the supercharged engine, the Grand Sport doesn't. The ZL1 has a supercharged engine, the 1LE doesn't, the SS 1LE doesn't. What you do get when you get the 1LE track package, though, is very important, because that's the distinction. A regular SS is not to a ZL1 as a Grand Sport is to a Z06. You need the 1LE package because the 1LE package gives you the magnetic ride support, the electronic limited slip differential. So the 1LE gives you the equipment that is necessary to equal the difference between a Grand Sport and a Z06, mainly in just one package, and that's the 1LE track package. It's a $7,000 package, but it's worth it if you don't want to get a supercharged Camaro, because you get the magnetic ride control, you get the forged 20-inch wheels, you get all the stuff that you want that comes with the ZL1 for 45 grand, or in this case it's 46.5, but rebates and stuff will bring it into the 45s. That is still a massive ton of money. I was about to cuss, but I'm not going to. Compared to, say, a track pack Mustang, but to get a 350, not an R, just a 350 is like another 10 grand on top of this price. So swings and misses, it's you got to find the right sweet spot, and I think this car really does hit it. And I'm not normally a fanboy over these things, but this car could be one of those ones that I kind of, you know, get a little bit of a chub over. So let's take a look at the car. Number one, this is my view out of the car. It is a much lower hood line and dashboard line than in my Mustang, because in my Mustang I kind of feel like I'm sitting in it. In this car, the seat's all the way down from my driving height, and it feels like I'm still kind of elevated, but I don't mind it because it gives me good sight lines for the front of the car. And obviously they could have had the dashboard be as high as the binnacle, but then it would have completely obstructed the windshield. I mean, look at that. Look at that, man. Come on. That's gun slit style stuff. Best mirror in the universe right there, by the way. Moving on down, of course, you have the integrated bigger screen. However, no navigation, which is fine. Who cares? Most people don't care about that. We have phones for that. Down below it, you have your climate controls, and you have... Camaros do something kind of cool in that it's aircraft style. So you have knobs to turn and dials, big chunky bad boys that you can turn, and that allows you to adjust everything in here. Turn that back down. It does take a bit from the Corvette in that it has the big round center digital readout, but this one doesn't display your tach because the tach is there, speedo is there. And then of course you have all your different settings that you can look at. I usually leave mine on the mile per hour because that's more important to me. It does have several modes, being the 1LE package. You have, of course, Touring, which is the softest suspension, softest steering. You have Sport, which is kind of the medium. You have Track, which is where I would leave it, and I have left it for the entire drive so far. And Snow and Ice. If you're trying to drive this thing on ice, you are a much braver man than I, Captain Kadinger. Alcantara wrapped steering wheel with a flat bottom, which is nice because in my seating position, I don't have a lot of room between the bottom of the wheel and my leg, so it does give me a little bit more room to turn the wheel. The materials in here are still a little bit, you know, hard plasticky, but that's fine because the purpose of this car is to go fast. And I'd rather go fast than worry about having leather up here, although right there would have been nice. On the steering wheel itself, you have rev matching, and you can see it says rev match on both because the automatic equipped cars have plus and minus, or minus and plus on there. To engage or disengage rev match, all you do is pull the trigger. See, rev match is on, rev match is off. Now, I personally prefer to keep rev match off. That's my personal opinion. It's just the way I do it. Meh, everything's gone to an electronic e-brake though, so it is what it is. These seats are redonkulously comfortable. I really like the way it grabs my upper torso and my hips, and I haven't done any real spirited driving with it yet, but I assume it would hold me pretty well. The back seat is vestigial, basically to help bring down the insurance cost on the vehicle by keeping it as a 4-seater versus a 2-seater. Thankfully no sunroof, so it doesn't compromise the double bubble. One thing I've noticed is that I do sit farther forward in this car in order to reach the pedals comfortably. And that is because of the design of the body. The way it's tucked in more means the pedals are a little bit farther forward than they are in the Mustang. And that's okay, but I've also noticed that it kind of wants to make me put my foot in the opposite direction, like in a Corvette. In a Corvette, I can't heel toe because I actually have to turn my foot the other way in order to get it to fit comfortably. Please don't think that I don't think there's any problems with this car. Sight lines are pretty terrible. The size of the mirrors, they're undersized, or at least they're not shaped very well. Right where you want mirror, there's a giant angle cut in them. Hi, son. Every time I start shooting from this side, I get the sun. The steering wheel for my driving position it's facing me almost completely flat, and I don't really like that as much as you would think. I'd rather have a little bit of angle so that when I'm turning, I'm not turning down. I want to be able to, you know, have a comfortable turn where, because look at your hands, put your hands out as if you were holding a steering wheel and then turn them. You don't turn like this, you turn like, you drive like that, not like this. But if I want to turn sharp, I actually have to canter my hands. Could also just be a big guy problem. Being 6'4" and, you know, sitting in the car the way I do, it might be that causes the issue. By sticking with a traditional like front dash layout and putting the fan exhaust down low, they are in a semi-awkward position to get optimal airflow. I wish they had found a way to put vents up above the radio, maybe in the ledge, but unfortunately they didn't. So airflow is a little bit compromised by that because you're going up against the shifter and the center console, and my knee actually blocks the left one. I do compliment the seats. They are very comfortable. I've driven Mustangs with the Recaro seats, specifically a 15 and a 16, and I think I prefer these seats to those seats. I'm not like so tight that I can't move, but I'm comfortably held in place that it's not pinching me either. As for the lower cushion, don't keep a wallet in your pocket because you're gonna know. You'll be able to read the credit card numbers off by just wiggling. I'm in a 70, I'm doing 70, and I'm turning 1,600 RPMs. That leads me to believe this thing has gearing down in the 320s, maybe 315 range, which is a little bit on the tall side and more of a fuel economy thing, which is why this car is rated at 25 miles per gallon. My car has a close ratio racing transmission version of the MT82 and 373s in the rear. So at 70, right now I'm doing 74 because I'm going downhill, and we're at 1750. In my car at 74, 2750. Although I've still managed 22 miles per gallon over the life of my vehicle, and I'm talking 140,000 miles. I do like that it's a more driver-centric cockpit than the Mustang is. The Mustang has everything a little bit far away from the driver. This, or at least in my seating position, has everything in a good spot where I can reach it very, very easily. Road noise, even on those F1 supercars, not bad. I've hit a couple of graveled roads that were pretty loud and obnoxious, but this is not bad at all. I guess the main question that you have to ask yourself is, are you willing to spend $7,000 over the entry price of a 1SS Camaro? Because that's what this car is. It doesn't have the 2SS package. It doesn't have navigation or the heated seats. But quite frankly, who cares? This is a performance car. In my opinion, it's definitely worth the extra money, especially if you're going to be comparing it to cars such as the Shelby GT350 or comparable cars from the Bavarian people, the M3, M4, or even the M2, the AMG Merc stuff, although they don't really have a car that competes with this because all their stuff is huge and nothing with manual. And they don't offer a good manual transmission coupe. Audi with their RS series, a lot of car, but a lot of money. And I guess that's another point to make. The minute you start looking at comparable BMWs, Audis, Mercedes, you're talking a lot more money. An M4 can easily hit $75,000, $80,000 when it's fully loaded. That's a lot of money. And I'm not saying the car's not worth it, I'm just saying that's a lot of money. As always, I'm not trying to make the decision for you. I'm just giving you my opinions as if I was driving the car to buy it for the first time myself. Now, if I was looking for a two-door sporty car, Mustang, Nissan 370, Camaro, all that stuff, I would definitely be looking for performance. That's why I bought a track pack and not a premium. So I would look at the 1LE, and I would look at a Nismo, and I would look at the GT350, and those would be the cars I would be comparing. And when you do that comparison, the Camaro starts to look pretty damn impressive. So do yourselves a favor, make sure that it's on your options list. Don't write it off until you drive it. So thank you to Jerry's for letting me go and pick up this car and drive it 350 miles so I can get a good feeling of it. Thank you guys for watching these videos, liking them and subscribing off of them. It's great to see you guys doing that. Hopefully I can do 2 or 3 car reviews a month to satiate the car people and continue doing my computer stuff. That is my goal. In the next few months, I am going to be moving, and when I do that, I'm getting rid of probably 80% of the stuff that I own. And when I'm done with that, then we'll, you know, triage and see what I'm keeping. So, don't forget to subscribe. Do that over there, I think. If you want to see my original review of an SS, it was an automatic, you can check it out up here. I'll put something else there. And, as always, I'll talk to you later, bright side!